Hey guys, and welcome to your week 1 homework. This week we're going to be focusing on a daily cars routine and something that you should be implementing every damn day. For our cars, one thing that we want to make sure is that we're not pressing into any sort of closing angle joint pain. So if you have any pain throughout the cars, limit your range of motion and let's try not to press through any sort of discomfort or pain through here. For our cars, what we're going to try to do is just draw as big a circle as we can with each joint while we're just working global cars for each joint. Starting with the neck, what you're going to do is in standing position, have your hands out to your side, create some tension with your hands, and we're just going to go through our global neck car. From here, tuck the chin straight down, look as far right as you can, drop the right ear down, bend the neck backwards looking straight up, drop left ear, left shoulder, rotate left, tucking down through. Again, we're going to go 3 reps for each joint, each way, drawing as big a circle as we can, looking up, left ear, left back pocket, rotate left, tucking down and through. One more going right. Each rep gets a little bit bigger as we're working through, not pressing through any sort of joint pain. Tuck that chin down. Keep that chin tucked. From here, we're just going to go left. Rotate left as far as you can. Drop left ear, left back pocket. Chin goes up towards the ceiling. Right ear, right back pocket. Rotate right. Tuck that chin down and through. 2 more here. Look as far left as we can. Left ear, left back pocket. Looking straight up. Right ear, right back pocket. Rotate right. Tuck that chin down through. 1 more rep here, scrape that chin to the left. Left ear, left back pocket. That neck should be nice and warmed up now. Biggest rep here, rotate right. Tuck that chin down and through. From here, we're going to be working into our shoulder cars now. So for shoulder cars, what I want you to do is you're going to have your right hand out to the side. We're going to start our hand in external rotation. From here, keeping our bicep right where it is, we're going to come up into adduction, bring that arm across the body, and trying to bring it up as high as we can. From here, we're going to slowly start to internally rotate, bring our bicep up to the ear, into flexion. From here, we don't want to bend backwards in the spine. We want just the motion to be coming from that shoulder joint. Once you hit your max flexion, start internally rotating the shoulder, reaching back behind you. Continue squeezing that internal rotation out into extension, and then our knuckles are going to finish at our hip with our arm fully rotated in internal rotation. From here, we're going to keep that internal rotation, kick our arm straight back, open the bicep up towards the ceiling, bicep comes up towards the ear, keep that external rotation, bring the arm across the body in adduction, back down and through. Again, with these, any sort of closing angle pain, if you're feeling a pinch in through here as you're going up, pinch on the back of the shoulder as you're going back, limit that range of motion. 2 more reps. Adduction, flexion, squeeze that internal rotation out, bicep starts turning down, kick back into extension, knuckles finish at your hip. From here, kick back into extension, open that bicep up towards the ceiling, external rotation of the shoulder, adduction, back down and through. Excellent, let's go right to the left side now. From here, external rotation of that shoulder, arm comes across the body, start internally rotating, keep the rib cage down, biceps at the ear. From here, get that flexion, start internally rotating, bicep really turns. Focus on that bicep turning in that shoulder joint. Knuckles finish at your hip, kicking straight back. Open the bicep up towards the ceiling. External rotation, flexion, into adduction, back down and through. Flexion, adduction. Bicep comes to the ear. Squeeze that internal rotation out. Really try to kick that hand behind you as you're squeezing that rotation out. Knuckles finish at the hip. Kicking straight back. Open that bicep up. Bicep comes to the ear. Adduction, back down and through. Excellent. Those are our shoulder cars. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to start working bilaterally for our elbows. So from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep our palms facing out in supination position in our elbows. We're just gonna very slowly come up as if we're doing a bicep curl. Elbows are glued to our sides, and our hands are gonna come outside of the shoulders in our supinated position. Once we hit full flexion, you're gonna pronate at the elbow, bringing the hands inside of the shoulders, and slowly coming back down. We're gonna do 3 reps of each of these. Back into supination. Flex at the elbows, keep those elbows glued to the side. Palms flip in, back down and through. 1 more rep here. Supination. Flexion, keep those hands outside of the shoulders. Pronation. And back down. Now let's keep that pronation. So as you come up into flexion, hands stay inside of the shoulders. Hands outside of the shoulders. Back down. 2 more reps. Pronate. Flex. Supinate. And back down. Making sure we're really feeling the movement from the elbow here and not from the shoulders or especially from the wrist. Supinate. Back down and through. Excellent. Last thing we're going to do with the upper body is we're going to just do our wrists. So with our wrists, we're going to have a nice karate chopped hand. You're going to take your opposite hand and hold it right at the wrist joint, running through here, ensuring that we're moving just from our wrist. Now all we're going to do with this is we're going to draw a nice big circle with our wrist, really focusing on the movement from the middle finger, making sure that middle finger is drawing a nice big circle. So from here, with our palm facing up, I want you to point your wrist down as far as it can go. Adduct, bring it in as far as you can go. Up into flexion as much as you can go. Abduction, back down and through. We'll do 3 reps each way here, following my tempo. Abduction, extension, adduction, and flexion. Now hold that flexion, adduction, bring it back down, extension, abduction, flexion. 2 more reps here. A little bit of popping is totally normal, but again, we're not pressing through any sort of closing pain. So if you feel any pinching as you're working towards the side of the joint, just come out of that position just a little bit. Last rep. Excellent, good. Shake that arm out. We're gonna do the same exact thing on the other side. This time let's start in flexion first. Abduction, into extension. Adduction, drawing that nice big circle. Here what we can do is we can evaluate our joints and see which ones we're more limited in, and that way we know which side we need to work on, what joints we need to work on. Going the opposite way here, extension, adduction, extension, abduction, flexion, adduction, draw that nice big circle, last rep, and rest. Good. Excellent. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work into our spinal cars. So we're going to do just some global spine cars, and the movement's going to be the same thing that we're doing for our neck, because the spine, same exact joint as the neck, as in the mid back here. So what we're going to do is a nice big bear hug. From this position, all you're going to do is just a slow flexion down. I want this movement to come from the back and not from the hips. So the hips are going to stay exactly where they are. Once you have that flexion, rotate as far right as you can. Drop right shoulder, right back pocket. Bend that spine back at the mid spine. Chest comes up towards the ceiling. From here, left shoulder, left back pocket. Rotate left, tucking down and through. Keep that flexion. Rotate right, drop right shoulder, hips stay nice and square as you bend backwards up towards the ceiling. Left shoulder, left back pocket. Rotate left, tuck down and through. 1 more round here. Chest comes up towards the ceiling. Left shoulder, left back pocket. Rotate left, tucking down and through. Okay, now as I go left, I'm going to show you from the side, just so you can see where the movement from the spine is coming from. So flexion. Again, our hips are staying nice and still. Ground yourself into the ground. Rotate as far left as you can. Drop left shoulder, left back pocket. Chest goes up towards the ceiling as you bend backwards. From here, drop that right shoulder, right back pocket. Rotate right, tuck down and through. Draw a nice big circle with your head. Left shoulder, left back pocket. Bending backwards. Right shoulder. Rotate right. Dropping down and through. One more rep here. Chest up towards the ceiling. Drop right shoulder, right back pocket. Rotate right. Tucking down and through. Excellent. Resting right there. From here, we're going to go into our hip cars. What I want is just for you to have a wall, something to grab onto. It can be a threshold of a door, a rig, anything along those lines. So if you have the rig here, we're going to work our inside leg for our hip cars. So get a nice solid grip on the wall, whatever you're using from here. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring our knee up into flexion and adduction. As we're doing that, you're going to flip the foot and hip into external rotation. Bringing that knee out to the side into abduction. As you're doing that, you're going to kick your foot to the back behind you and extend the knee back to the wall behind you as well. Again, we're just drawing a nice big circle with our hip here. Each one of these reps is going to get a little bit smoother. Let's do 3 of them. Adduction, flexion. Start externally rotating that hip. Knee stays up nice and high as you kick your foot back. Knee falls back behind with it. What I don't want to happen is for the lower back to be doing this motion. So generally, less range of motion is better just to focus on that hip. Last rep here, let's make it our biggest one. Up and in. Flip that foot out. Knee stays up nice and high as we kick back to internal rotation. Knee kicks back and back to our starting position. I'm going to do the left hip just from the side so you guys can see how it's done here. Knee into flexion, adduction. Hip external rotation. Keep that foot on the inside of the knee as you come out. Kick that foot back behind you. Knee goes back behind you and back to our starting position. Knee up and in. Foot flips in, external rotation of that hip. Keep the foot on the inside of the knee as you bring the knee out as far as you can. Once you hit that position, foot flips back behind you, knee goes back. One more rep here. Let's try to make this our biggest rep. External rotation. Hip goes out as far as you can, foot flips back behind the knee. Feel that rotation deep in the hip and relax. Good. Excellent. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to get into our knee cars. For our knee cars, all we're going to work on is just some rotation here. So what I want you to do is you're going to have one leg nice and straight. And let's start with the right leg. So from here, what I want you to do is dig your right heel down to the ground so you feel your hamstring turn on. And all we're going to work on doing is just rotating our shin bone in our knee, our tibia, side to side. So what I want you to do, a little bit of dorsiflexion in the ankle, point that ankle up towards the shin, and we're just going to rotate our shin out to the side as far as we can, and then in as far as we can. So when you're going out to the side, really feel that lateral hamstring turn on. That's what's doing the work. And as we go in, medial hamstring turns on. Let's do 5 reps of those here. 2. What I don't want is for the ankle to dictate this motion. If I was to draw a straight line from the middle of your ankle all the way up your shin, that line shouldn't break. External rotation, internal rotation. That's 3, 4, and 5. Good, let's do the same thing. Right over to the other side. Again, dig our heel down to the ground. I like to grab onto the bottom half of my thigh here just so I can feel the hamstring tendons turn on. External rotation. Internal rotation. Generally for these, internal rotation is a little bit more limited. So if any of these you feel more limited in, just note that and you can work through them throughout the week. A couple extra reps of cars does a really, really big job in getting us to groove these cars a little bit better. External rotation, internal rotation. 4 and 5. Excellent. Our last car here is just going to be for our ankles. So what I want you to do, we're going to work our right leg. I want you to take your left hand, scoop it underneath. Then I want you to take your right hand, and you're going to grab right onto your knee here. This is just going to make sure that we're not doing any sort of motion from our hip or our knee. From this position, start with your ankle nice and relaxed. We're gonna go into as much dorsiflexion as we have. Point that foot out to the side, point it down, in, and back up. Let's just draw 3 big circles each way there. A little bit of movement from the toes here is totally okay. Just making sure that that motion is really coming from the ankle. And let's go the other way. Bring the foot in, down towards the ground, out, and back up. 2, and 3. Good. Right to the other side. Our last one here. Pointing out, pointing down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Good. That's 3 here. Invert, plantar flex, evert, dorsiflex. That's 1. Ankles are crucial to any sort of exercise that we're doing in the lower body. So making sure we warm these up before any sort of lower body workout is really crucial. And relax there. So with these daily cars routine, notate where you feel more limited and on which side, and just work in more of those cars throughout the day. And that's the point of this week's homework, is to just find where we need a little bit of corrective work and really focus on that work for the tougher classes that we have moving forward.